When you come here, you can pick up your map pack, so you know exactly where your favourite stalls are. So you've got an idea where everything is. And this, you can see Hall 1 being the biggest, and then all the information there. There you go, there's Hall 2. And then again, all of this information. So Hall 3, open gaming, tournaments, bring and buy. So I think it will be the busiest day today. And you can see how congested it is at the moment. Found this. Can you survive the impossible dungeon? Just turn it over and there is one of those QR codes. So if you can check that out on hopefully one way or another from the video.
Hi.
Hello, Jack.
Hello. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah. It's been a long day, but I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, excellent. So, tell me about all of these games, and it's all your own work, isn't it?
Yeah. So, about the only thing in common amongst these is that I'm the writer of them. So they're quite different, but we have Orbital over here. Orbital is a game where, as a group, we build our own space station, and we build some characters who are going to try and save it from being ruined. And then Corico is my most recent project, and that is a solo role-playing game where you play a teenage witch leaving home for the first time and use a combination of cards and dice to tell that story over your year. The Slow Knife over here is a game of villains who have taken down a nice young person, and it is the story of their slow revenge on you as characters, and you kind of build out this big conspiracy board as you go. And then finally, these two at the end here are two little solo games about objects, so magical items and spaceships, and kind of telling the story of those things from their construction all the way through to their demise. So yeah, pretty varied set of stuff.
Lots of very imaginative, isn't it? And it's much different from a lot of storytelling games, isn't it? And you get people together, and really good. Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries.
Well, this sushi boat game, I must say though, I do like the whole setup. You know, it's like an actual board that's around the kind of theme of it, and you can move the pieces around like this. And I like that as well. Sushi boat side dishes. So a little expansion, I would imagine, for the game. Hello there, Bergie.
Hey, how you doing? We're at the UK Games Expo, and Game Toppers is here.
It's absolutely brilliant. There we go. It's a really good year, isn't it? I must say. I'm very curious about these Game Toppers. So, do they sit on like a?
Yeah, basically, what we decided was how do we make a portable gaming table that converts your home table into a high-quality game table. So we settled on a military-grade aluminium, and what we've come up with, you have two halves of the table. It's one half sits on the table, the other half sits on the other side. Yeah. There's a connector cleat that locks them together, and then you have cup holders that lock into the rail, and then you roll out your thematic game mats out on the table. This is a thematic game mat from Amber Scarf, our nature mat. We have over 28 different styles of game mats in 6 different topper sizes. Oh, wow. And then we have all kinds of other options like leg kits, where you have the full table experience with dining covers. We have the Young Sherlock children's table.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
This here that you're seeing is the Mycroft, which is our 4-foot by 6-foot miniatures gaming table. This is with our fantasy theme inlay, which is beautiful work by Brent Woodside from Woodside Illustrations, who's worked with Disney. We also are doing a new galactic Mycroft with a space theme and some really cool innovative things, and all of these for an amazing price point. Our toppers start as low as $4.99, and we do Kickstarters. We've done 5 of them into the UK, and we're doing another one in July that you're able to get in on all the deals. We bulk ship to Games Quest here, deliver brilliantly within the United Kingdom and into the EU for a fraction of the cost of what it costs to ship a topper normally. So that's coming up with all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's excellent, isn't it? Really great, and the amount of designs that you have as well. The toppers. Yeah, really good. So, can you, if needed, could you deliver these all over the world?
Yes, we do.
Brilliant.
We've been doing that since 2018. We've sold close to 5,000 game toppers worldwide. Plus, we've become known as one of the more quality premium neoprene game mat manufacturers. These are 3mm premium stitched edge mats from some of the top board game artists in the industry, like Vincent Dutray, Amber Scarf, John McCambridge did our new horror mat, which was our top seller last year. Jaroslav Radecki from Poland has done some of our amazing. We did all the mats for Arcane Wonders for their Foundations of Rome game.
Oh yeah.
So we have a lot of friends in the industry, and we've been fortunate to really be able to do a high quality table for a low price and get them onto people's tables. And they always go, Berkey, these are way better than I thought. I never thought I could afford to have a great table. And now they're able to do that.
Now you can do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Bergie.
Oh, super happy. Thank you.
So my name is Diego Perez. I'm one of the co-founders of Tabletop R&D. So what we do is we spin out of Premier University of London. And then what we do is we do automatic testing for tabletop games. So what we do is we take the rules of the game, all the data that has to do with the game, like for instance cards or anything that has to do with the content of the game, and then we put that into our software. So what we do is we basically we have hundreds of different AI players that play thousands of games very quickly, and we come back with a set of statistics on the game, things about game balance. So it could be first player advantage, it could be maybe some cards or some powers that are overpowered or underpowered, and things that have to do with victory conditions or anything that really designers want to know about. So we come back with reports, and the report basically explain the whole thing about the game, different statistics, and then designers can decide if they want to act on that or not. We want to see if there's something that they are not really familiarized with or things that they are not very happy with, then we can essentially run tests or modifications of those games.
So anyone that's come up with a new game prototype, you can help support them to get on the right tracks of making it like a more successful game.
That's the idea, is to get the balance right. I mean, we don't say what the balance is or what should be the balance, so we basically go back to statistics. We tell them this is how the game behaves. Like for instance, we have worked in a couple of examples here, but we have worked with a few companies, and basically we say, like for instance, there are there's an example here, for instance. Like I can show you this one over here. It's a work that we've done with Underdog Games, game-based development called Biggafist. So we can see if there is any particular play advantage if you are first or second or third in the play order. We can show that kind of thing. Or the other example I can show over here. So we have a different game over here. This is Serious Smugglers by one of our friends, designers, Alan Wallat. So for instance, here we are showing that for different players, there are 4 different victory conditions that determine how the game ends. So we are basically showing, well, these victory conditions happen quite often, while these ones are very rarely happen. So the designer can go back to this and then decide, well, now actually I'm going to change these rules, and we can test that again. So we never really say this is wrong, this is right. We just show the data, the analysis, and then the designers can say, well, I want to change it. This is fair. This is not fair, and so on.
Because then new people on the scene making new games are not going to feel like they're on their own now, are they? They're going to have that support from your...
Yeah, we provide a service so they can essentially make sure that the game is a bit more tested. So I think when you do normal testing with humans, what happens is that it takes time to get them together. You have to essentially spend maybe 30 minutes to 2 hours with the session, explaining the rules, doing repetitive time, so it takes a long time. And then if you change the rule, you have to go and do that again. And for things that are very mechanic, basically launching AI players playing thousands of games and then being able to gather those statistics that tell you things about the balance, that's a step ahead. You always going to have to test with humans because they can tell you more things that AI cannot really tell you, like surprise or like in the components or these kind of things. But it allows the designer to be a bit of ahead of the game in order to, when they're going to pitch it to publishers, they are a bit more convinced or they are more confident that the game is robust and it behaves in a way that they want really.
So if the gaming mechanics are a little bit simple and the gaming the person that is designing the game, they want those gaming mechanics to be a little bit more in depth. You can help with that, can you? A little bit.
Well, I mean, we really don't get into the role of the designer. So if we can suggest from what we see in the data, from experience with other games, we can suggest things that can be changed. For instance, we've worked in a game recently in which some of the things that were happening during the game were a little bit odd, and we can say, well, maybe you can give an advantage to the player that is losing, so they have more chances to come back when they are losing the game. So we can suggest certain mechanics that can change or can help, but in general it's always whatever the designer wants to do. Really.
Yeah. Excellent. So what was your name again?
Diego Perez.
Diego Perez.
Yeah. So we are, it's myself and Raluca Gaina, we are both co-founders of the company. We are full-time lecturers at University of London. And then we are basically spinning out of university, and we've created this company that's 1 year old, really, so it's quite new. And we have a few people already interested, and we have a few contracts, and we're trying to look for more people, look for funding, look for anything that allows us to develop this more into a product that can help designers to get the games out.
And it's something you definitely need, I think, in the game boarding, in the tabletop gaming.
I think it will help people to be more confident when they pitch the games, right? And to shorten the time that they have to actually go ahead and publish the game. So that will be more games that you can get out in the same amount of time, and ideally better games that they can also be tested for robustness and tested for balance and things like that.
Perfect. So Diego.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you, Diego. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And so if we look out for this company online, they can help us out with new games. I must say I'm looking forward to speaking with Christian again about the latest clue boxes. So we'll find out about that. Well, hello Christian. It's great to see you again. We met you last year, didn't we? Right, what have you got new for us this time?
Well, welcome back at our booth. From last year, you maybe still remember our clue boxes, our escape rooms in a box. And since last year, we have actually improved on this and created our Clue Box Pro. This one is much more intricate, much more complex, and will take you much longer to solve. If you want to have a closer look at it, just come right in. This is Sherlock Holmes' camera. Like you can see, it is modeled like an old-time camera, and it has all the little bits and pieces to make it stand out as such. You have a lot of moving parts in here. Like I already said, it is much more intricate and much more complex. You can see here's a little bit of the Big Ben. If you're a fan of the Sherlock saga and maybe have read some, books of it or maybe seen some movies, you will already see that there are hundreds of little things that will remind you of the books and stuff, like the Dancing Man. I don't know if you know them. You don't need that knowledge, but if you have it, it will surprise you even more how we were able to put them into this design.
There's a lot to it, isn't there? As you can see when you move it round.
Exactly. So there's lots of stuff on here. So yeah, this is our new flagship, the Clue Box Pro Sherlock Holmes camera, ready for you to solve. And yeah, if you want a challenge, you can pick one up at our store.
roughly, how long does it take to complete? I mean, it takes people different times, doesn't it? Obviously.
So we put on the box that it takes about like 2 hours plus, but we actually also have a Hall of Fame where people can post their times, and I think the average on there is more like 4 hours. Right. So it is quite a step up. Yeah, it is the hardest one we have.
And I must say, I just like the stand as well. It just adds to it, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just visual, but it does a lot for the camera, doesn't it?
Excellent, brilliant. Right, and you've got something else for us, haven't you?
Yes.
To show us.
We also got something else in store. I will just take you right over.
Right. Okay. So there we are. So this is really interesting, isn't it? Because this is brand new. So yeah, let's hear some more information about this one,
yes.
Please, Christian.
Exactly, like you already said, this is brand new, also from Adventure. We created this. This is not a clue box, this is a clue puzzle. So like you can see here, we have this lovely pyramid, the Pyramid of the Sun, that is covered in beautiful art made out of puzzle pieces. But the clue here is that you, as the player, has to obviously assemble the puzzle, but while you do so, the puzzle will become part of the mechanisms in the box. So there are a lot of mechanisms here that do not work right now. But once you have finished the puzzle, those mechanisms will actually be operatable, and you will be able to use them to collect goodies that you can then use on the next side, maybe to activate the pyramid again, puzzle through the pyramid, again discover how the mechanisms work, discover how the puzzle interacts with the pyramid, and in the end you again switch sides and go on and go on. For each side we also have different design choices, so you can switch out the puzzles. We have 3 in total, 3 for each side, and in the end you will always be able to open the pyramid, keep going inside because there's a little something inside that we put there, or put something else inside, close it up again, and gift it as the most beautiful present and gift wrapping that you have ever seen.
It is beautiful, isn't it? The amount of work that's gone into this again, isn't it? Is you can see it, you really can.
Sure.
Excellent. But yeah, thanks again, Christian.
No worries.
As always, it's a pleasure.
Always happy to be on the channel.
Take care.
You too.
Apparently this is a big game at the moment. Hello, Jessica.
Hi.
I've heard a lot of things about Lorcana. It's a big game at the moment, isn't it?
It is. So Lorcana is a trading card game that is owned by Ravensburger and has the IP of Disney behind it, which has made the game very, very popular indeed. Trading card game means you can play 1v1, but we also have options with Lorcana where you can play as a group of 3 or a group of 4 in a competitive manner. And yesterday we launched our new game called Deep Trouble, which is a cooperative version of the game. And the game is based heavily on lots of character cards. Now, character cards are going to go on quest and they're going to bring you back lore. And lore is represented by these symbols. So as you can see, some are stronger than others, but characters can also challenge each other, and that might slow your opponent down. You also have some cards which are supporting cards, things like actions, song cards, and this new card which is called a location. And locations can support the other character cards in giving them bonuses to play. The person who gets 20 lore first wins the game.
You see?
Yes.
So can you collect packs of the cards?
You can. So some people prefer to play and collect, and rather than collect, and other people like to collect the cards. And you can buy something called a booster pack, and inside of there you're going to get 12 cards. You're going to get 6 commons, 3 uncommons. 2 slots are going to be anything that could be rare, super rare, or even legendary. And the last card is going to be a foil card that could be any rarity. Or if you're super lucky, it could be something called an enchanted card, which is a full art, full foil version of some of the cards.
So how many cards are there at the moment?
So in a full set, there is 204 to collect. We are currently on 4 sets, which is 816 cards. Yes.
That's great. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Bye.
So we're in the board game library, and here you can play any of the games here. There's the selection. You can see how many there are here that you can try out. Basically what happens is you pay £10 to get a board game library card, and then you get one of these cards here, and then you just come to this desk with the game, and then you go out here and you play the game. You can only play one game at a time, so you return that one, and then you can pick up another game from the library to play. Plenty of areas to sit, play the games, and make new friends with people. Hello, Darren and Jasmine. Hello. I understand, just having a quick little browse here, this is a role-playing game.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Sure. So this is Legends of Avalon. This is our role-playing game. This is Celtic fantasy, primarily inspired by Welsh mythology. This is Iron Age Britain. This is castle-raiding warrior queens, the Romans as well. There's also the magic and wonders of the other world. And amongst all this chaos, you begin the game as a humble villager. You're a blacksmith, you're a merchant, you're a shepherd, that kind of thing. Then you venture into the world, and then you learn how to use magic and how to fight. And so the game begins really simple and humble, then grows in complexity and epicness as you play.
Yeah. I love the fact that you start off like in a basic setting and a basic character, and you sort of develop as the story goes along. Is that right?
Yeah.
You essentially play out your backstory instead of having it as a note in your character sheet. So if you're like a folk hero, then you'll do the small thing that made you a folk hero, and then you learn how to fight with your bow and arrow or with your magic.
Oh, nice. So is there a lot of replayability?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a role-playing game, so you can always make new characters, you can always take different adventures. You can begin the game as a Celtic-inspired character, or try a different one where you start as a Roman-inspired character instead, who's finding something new about the world in Celtic Britain, essentially. Yeah.
Excellent, brilliant. So this is your latest?
No, so this is our core rulebook. This came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Debuted at the UK Games Expo then. And then this is our campaign book that released on Friday. It is made for our game, but it's also compatible with D&D if that's your jam.
Perfect. So it is flexible. That's very good. Well, thank you very much, Darren and Jasmine, for speaking to us today.
Awesome, thank you. We are Adderstone Games.
Thank you.
The exit games are out in force. So the collection has built up over the years, as you can see. And you've got, I haven't noticed this one before. This is interesting. Nightfall Manor, but it includes 4 puzzles. But I think these are one-time use, I believe. So once you've used these escape rooms, then you can't replay them. Well, this store is Magic Madhouse, and they've got a great selection here, as you can see. So if you spend £30, over £30, you get free delivery, and they have 20% off RRP. Well, Star Wars fans will be happy to see the double version, the Mandalorian. So the Disney Villainous series has really extended over the years. All these despicable plots, wicked to the core, evil comes prepared, bigger and badder, perfectly wretched, Marvel's one, and Star Wars. The power of the dark side. That looks really nice, doesn't it, actually? I like it. Well, they all look really nicely presented if you had them in your Calyx board game shelves. Well, I've got Jeremy Blum here.
Yes.
You're part of this whole
exactly, yes.
role-playing game, aren't you?
Yeah, so this is Mappamundi, an ecology and exploration RPG. This is a pre-release guide right now. The full version is coming to Kickstarter in 2025, February. This is entirely available for free as a PDF online right now for pay what you want. We are here at the UKGE running games for people, spreading the word. But essentially what this is this is a non-violent role-playing game that puts the players in the role of these chroniclers of the wilderness. Your job is to traverse Mother Nature and to observe the behaviors of monsters like a naturalist or a biologist instead of just hack and slash adventurers needing to fight them. No, there's no combat in this game. The players cannot die. So we remove death from the equation. It changes the way that people think about the narrative. So imagine you're like David Attenborough instead of like Conan the Barbarian. We've got 4 character classes. So it is an RPG where you have a game master, but we call it a narrator in this case, and a couple players. We have the archivist, which is your map maker, your note taker, your historian. We have the diviner, which is, you've got tarot cards and you've got oracle bones, which are dice. We built dice into the actual narrative of the game. The diviner can consult with fate and figure out more about what fate is telling them about the environment. We have the fixer. You're good at character relationships, and you're also good at crafting things. You're like the MacGyver of the party. You can take rocks and rope and make a pulley system to help your party navigate a river. And there's the guardian. You protect the other members of the party, and you take on a self-defense role. As you can see, we've got these big skill trees for every class, which might look intimidating, but actually the skills are narrative focused. Okay, it's not crunchy. Each one does require a dice roll, but they're narrative focused, and you don't need to learn a lot of complicated rules to get started playing. You can make a character in about 15 minutes. There's only 5 steps to make a character, and get started playing right away. The game's got 3 phases: an encounter phase, a research phase, a journey phase, and an encounter phase. The research phase is the one that's most similar to a regular tabletop role-playing game. The players talk with NPCs, they learn about a region, they learn about the monster in the region. As they do that, the narrator or the game master is assembling a deck of cards. The deck of cards represents the environments that the players might come across inside of the journey phase. So for example, here we have a river, we have a rainforest, we have a lagoon. The interesting thing about these cards is that each one can be read right-wise and inverted. We have radial art for every single card. We wanted to make exploration more fun than it is in most role-playing games. So when the players are getting from point A to point B, the narrator puts down a set of these cards to represent the various biomes they need to go to. If the players have done a good job finding out information in the research phase about, for example, the lake, they will have a relatively speedy and peaceful traversal experience through the lake. If they haven't, it will be presented inverted, and there will be skill challenges for them to confront. So it's not really a game about dungeon crawling and slashing monsters in the depths of the dungeon. It's about fighting the environment and eventually making it through to the monster, and I'll show you a picture of a gigantic monster. For example, this fellow right here, this beautiful giant snail, the Helix caracol. This is an example of a monster at the end of the game in the encounter phase. So this is like our monster stat block right here. Instead of having abilities purely focused on combat, we have behaviors like cold-blooded, slime trails, stone spiral shell. Each behavior is linked to a specific player ability. If the players use the right abilities in the encounter phase and roll the dice well, they will be able to unlock all 8 of the monster behaviors. They will be able to transcribe these behaviors onto their character sheets, and they will complete the mission. So you can imagine, it's a little bit like Monster Hunter, but inverted. You're not killing monsters, you are studying them. Think people have drawn comparisons to Pokemon Snap, like filling out a Pokedex, taking pictures of the Pokemon in intricate and incredible ways. And it's a game that really encourages less of an antagonistic relationship between the narrator and the players. We have this mechanic called shaping, where if you manage to successfully traverse these cards in the journey phase, the players are invited to shape the environment around them. Shaping means they get to add their own flavor text and describe what was the lake like, what was the forest like, was it beautiful and tranquil, were there bugs crawling out from the trees, were there stone statues sticking out from the earth. Once they shape, then that contribution is added to the narrative and becomes canon. The overall meta plot is that the players are trying to restore lost histories to the world and are trying to figure out the behaviors of monsters. You are telling your own version of the story.
and you are telling your own version of these massive monsters that lurk in the fog of war that surrounds the world. So that's Mappamundi in a nutshell. I hope you're interested, and if you're keen on following the game and learning more about the game, the pre-release available completely for free online, 3slowstudios.com, or you can just search for Mappamundi RPG. You'll come across us. The Kickstarter is in February 2025, and actually the core of the game is done now in this pre-release. This is a complete game right now with an adventure in the back. By the time we go to Kickstarter, the game will be finished. Right now we're just adding more monsters, more regions, more content, and so when you support us on Kickstarter, you're not going to have to wait a year to get your books. It'll be done. And so we really hope to get more support and more people supporting Mappamundi.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Great meeting you. All the best with it. Hello, Charlie. I understand you're the editor of the Tabletop Gaming magazine.
I am indeed. So we're a monthly magazine dedicated to all things board games, card games, trading card games, miniatures, role-playing. If you find it at UK Games Expo, it's probably got a home somewhere in our magazine. So this is what we publish. We go every month with a new theme and a new exciting thing to focus on, full of reviews, features, fun stuff, suggestions, ideas, and cool, quirky things in the industry that we want to talk about, we want to show off.
Perfect. So the way it's written, it's not too technical, so you know, if someone's new to tabletop gaming, they're not going to feel too, they're not going to be overwhelmed too much by it. So it gets them into it.
So I'm relatively new to taking over tabletop gaming. I've had it for about 6 to 7 months. And my real drive has been to make it very accessible. I really want people, any type of gamer, to be able to pick it up and read through and find something in there for them. Now I do that in a couple of different ways. It's whether in the language that we use, in making sure we're explaining our terms, and I want everyone to feel welcomed into the hobby. But we've got a feature in there that we call Tabletop Glossary, and that looks at terms that we use too frequently that we don't realise are stopping people from getting in. So I said to friends recently, I've got a polyomino tile laying game, and blank looks, absolute blank looks, and I went, oh no, I've gone too far, I've been too technical. We're putting down pieces on a board that are different shapes, and it's really fun, and I've done it that way instead. And that's something I'm really keen on in the magazine, is it can be read at all levels. If you know what a tile laying polyomino is, great, but also I'm going to tell you, you're putting down pieces and doing this as a way to try and bring as many people in. I want this to be an accessible hobby, and that's something I've got the power to do in the mag, so that's what I'm trying to do now.
Would you be able to show us a little example of the content? That would be brilliant, thank you.
So we always have. So the most recent one is our Ultimate Board Game Night. So we've got a really cool interview with Hachette in there. If you've seen them at the show, they have got some incredible stuff going on at the moment. Not least with, I've got Gibraltar in there, but we've talked the big game nights, what they would do as an ultimate game night, and then talking about the launch of Corridor Pac-Man, which came to UK Games Expo. I then try and do a little bit of a balance. So we've got a interview with Big Potato Games, but we've also got, is it okay to throw a game? Should you other times when it is? Here's a couple of games that you might be interested in, what you might want to do for a board game night, why duet and dual games are so popular. In this issue we've got cozy board games, and we've gone with a Z on this one after the person who wrote it. So Rosie, who you may know from social media, has an incredible channel, and she's written us this one for this issue. We sort of go through, I had great fun with this one. We've got food, drinks, options for every kind of thing you can do on which board games you're playing. That tabletop glossary that I said about, that's always in there. And then we move into sort of like our more regular features. So things that we look at Lorcana every month, what's new on the horizon, and just other fun stuff that we want to talk about. And then a big old chunk of the magazine we split into having reviews for lots and lots of different games. So this is a really good way pre any show to get an idea of the sort of things you might want to have a look at. But we talked to lots and lots of, we have lots of people contribute, lots of people offering their board game reviews in there. So we hear from as many voices as we possibly can, with their own specialists and interests. So depending on what type of gamer you are, there's no point asking a light gamer to review a 12-hour board game that's too intricate, and then we just have a look through there. We've got loads of different options for different people, so we separate family games, strategy games, card games, but we'll also give you recommendations. So in this case you might look at Harmonies. I've said if you like Acropolis, you'll probably like Harmonies. The natural thing is Patchwork or Resolve for Harmonies, but Acropolis actually is quite a good comparison. So if you know you like this game, give families a try, for example. And we do that with each of them to give you a little nudge in the right direction. Or if you know you like that game, maybe try the one we're suggesting. So there's plenty going on in there.
I do. And does this come out on a monthly basis?
Yes, yeah, so we're a monthly magazine. Quickest and easiest way to find us is subscription, so we can come straight to your door with it.
That's really good,
but
isn't
it is
it?
also available in newsagents, WH Smiths, Sainsbury's, some Tesco's. It's where the demand is, so it's always a case of speak to the person that's stocking the magazine and they'll probably order it in, and if you continue to buy, more and more go into the shops. So
That's
it's really
brilliant.
nice to go around.
Thank you very much for your time and talking to us, Charlie.
Enjoy.
Hi Bevan, nice to meet you. I understand that you are behind this game, aren't you?
I am, yes. So this game's called Horticulture. It's the sequel to our previous game, Ghostal, where you're playing as sort of spooky gardeners that are trying to create the best looking garden around this haunted house from the first game. And the idea ostensibly is you've got these sort of skeletons, these zombies, these ghouls, to try and bid for tokens, these sort of plant and ornament tokens that you then place into your garden. How you place them into your garden will dictate how many points they're worth at the end of the game, how spooky they are. And the game also includes things like bidding, a tic-tac-toe style system where you're trying to trigger special abilities. And you've also got the ability to hire and fire new monsters, so you can tailor your strategy to be like, oh, I want to build lots of stuff, or no, I want to go loads of this particular flower. Comes with lovely loads of gold coins, loads of tokens, and we've got our absolute favourite thing is the Scarecrow, which is our first player marker. So you're definitely sure it's a spooky little game?
Yeah.
One of the key features is the fact that it's replayable. So one of the things we've got is we've got several different ways to exactly, we've got lots of different ways to score the various plants and ornaments, but you can then flip it over when you're done and get a more advanced version here. So you've got to get more bang for your buck basically out of each copy of the game. And we combine that with sort of secret objective cards here as well. So you'll have your own unique way of scoring at the end of the game. So, make sure there's always a bit of something extra to do. So that's Horticulture.
Excellent, brilliant. Have you got a couple of other games? Well, I've noticed you've got a couple of other games here. Are you able just to talk to us a little bit about
Absolutely,
that as well?
So our other game is one called Ultra Ball. So we designed this with the artist. He produced a comic in Cardiff called The Glorious Wrestling Alliance, and he wanted to produce his own card game to go with it. So we created Ultra Ball. You get 6 wrestlers in the game. The idea is that you're trying to build up combos of attacks. The only rules on the combos are they have to match the symbols at the bottom. So for example, this arrangement is illegal because that's a red going into a blue attack, so you can't do that.
Oh yeah.
But you can swap it over, and they've got a blue attack going into a blue attack, so that is legal. So then you're able to produce these combos. And the only other rule is that you can't have too many light moves next to each other because that's boring.
I see.
The idea is you're building up damage on this opponent. The more damage you do to them, the easier your die rolls become. So obviously your opponent's getting more tired, more damaged. And you're also trying to build up these momentum tokens, which you can eventually use to perform the special move for your particular wrestler. And these will come in different flavors of like one really flashy attack, a submission move, a controlling move where you make them discard cards. So that's how the wrestlers themselves work. And there's a massive stack of move cards that includes things like tables or rest holds, where you both try have a little chat to each other and say, look, if you just hold still for a minute, we can both have a little rest here.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously trying to get into the pin, so you're trying to get that 1, 2, 3 to finish off the match. And then it comes with these lovely acrylic tokens, and because it's the Kickstarter version, we've also got these ally cards. So these are sort of turnstile pals that are helping you out from the corner. And these will give you an extra way to spend your momentum tokens, just give you an extra special ability that you can use during the course of the game.
Oh, excellent.
And we include enough cards to do a tag team match, so you can play 2 versus 2 or 1 versus 1.
That's brilliant. It's nice to see a wrestling game out there, isn't it? There's not many wrestling games, and this makes it look really fun as well. So, thanks for your time, Bevan.
Yeah, no problem.
Really interesting. If you want to see more, check out part 4. Please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing.